Beautiful day to you, lovelies. Welcome to my channel if you are new. My name is Kat, and of course, welcome back if you are a returning lovely. Thank you so much for all of your love and your support and energy exchange. I am honestly so grateful to have you here, even if it's for a brief message, like 30 seconds or even 5 seconds. If it's helping in your life, I am doing my part here. So this is my third time recording this. I recorded it twice yesterday. Well, I got like 3 minutes into the first one. The second one was like 20 minutes long. And you know what? I just wasn't feeling it. And when you're not feeling it, you don't post it. So I'm just feeling like maybe there was some leftover, like some stagnant February energy left over. I don't know. The energy just felt off, and not that it was a bad message. I wasn't disappointed or anything with the video. It just, like I said, it just wasn't feeling it. So, third time's the charm, right? So basically, what I wanted to talk about was just some frustrations I had been feeling. I'm shifting very much shifting out of that energy, but just feeling really frustrated with my ego, to be completely honest with you. I feel like as we are shifting into these higher frequencies and going through these changes, our ego programming is just fighting back so much harder. Like, it's fighting back really hard. But I mean, that's what it's programmed to do. So it makes sense, but it's frustrating nonetheless. That's what I'm noticing. So if you had caught my twin flame video and another one, I had mentioned Eckhart Tolle and the power of now, and he just really goes into how we are not our ego minds, we're not our ego programming, and just essentially like ways that you can go about reprogramming your mind and not identifying with your ego, with the ego self. And I'm finding myself having to kind of go back to that. I was doing really well. I was really diligent about being in the present moment, staying in the present moment, catching myself when I wasn't. And I have been just going through so much within the last couple of weeks now that I want to say I feel like I've been slipping, but I have been reassured by my spirit team that that's not the case. So if you feel like you're backsliding, if you're resonating with that, you feel like you're backsliding, or essentially, 5 steps forward, 10 steps back kind of a thing, don't. You're not. You're exactly where you need to be. I just think that this was kind of a collective energy, and I know it's not just me. I know a lot of the channeled messages that I've been listening to specifically have been sharing the same thing. So yeah, don't feel like you're like all of your progress has been for nothing. You can't go back. It's like, I feel like where we're at on a frequency level, you can't go back from that. The quantum leaps that we have made individually and as a collective, you just can't go back from that. So I hope that's encouraging. It encourages me. So yeah, been feeling a lot of that frustration and just having to really go back to that book. I haven't necessarily like gone back to read it, but just revisiting really the different tactics and ways that you can go about not letting your ego really be in control. And I think that really starts with identifying what exactly your ego does. Like, how is it that you can tell the difference between your ego and your higher self, or when you're hearing from your guides or whatever? Um, so for me, um, the biggest one isn't even so much in the past or the present, because I think those are the two biggest identifiers with your ego. The ego always wants to be in the past, wants to ruminate on the past events, which actually starts to create um, your present energy, and then it starts to basically create your future energy. And so then you see how this cycle goes, or it's created, and how it continues. um, so it likes being in the past, likes being in the future, thinking about future events, or thinking about future conversations, or even better yet, thinking about how this past conversation could have gone better, or how you could do it in the future. It's crazy. It's so crazy. But for me, it's actually present moment things. Um, and I think that's because I have healed so much, and I'm at the point where it's like I don't revisit my past unless I need to. Like, if I'm sharing information, or like a trigger comes up or something, and I'm needing to revisit it to heal with something. Otherwise, I don't visit my past. Um, I'm more either in the future, like thinking about, oh, this event is going to happen, or I'm going to see this person or something, and then it's like the ego just wants to be like, oh, this conversation, you're gonna have this conversation, and blah 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 blah. And that's not how it goes. That's never how it goes. You can try and plan it as much as you want to, but ultimately the ego is not as in control as it thinks it is. It just tries to be, which is why it does everything it can so desperately to pull you out of the present moment. So I get a lot of repeating song lyrics, um, and I think that's very much a distraction. It's so funny. It cracks me up. And I've gotten to this point where, like, I've moved from frustration. I mean, I do still get frustrated. That has been my last week, has been being frustrated with my ego. Um, but I'm shifting into really just kind of like laughing at it. I'm like, you're freaking hilarious with this stuff. Um, yeah. Or judgment, present moment judgment. That's also a big one too. So it's like you'll be in the present moment, sitting on a park bench or something, and you see some little kitties run by or something, and or and you're not just observing and laughing at it. You make a judgment. Either you like it or you don't like it, or something. You see something beautiful, and you express how you feel about it, that you like essentially. It's the duality of it. It's one way or another. Even if you have a positive judgment of something, that's still your ego mind taking you out of the present. It's fickle. um so yeah. um I don't really know where I'm going with this. I just really wanted to express how I've been feeling kind of frustrated, and how I feel like this is kind of a collective thing too. And maybe ways that we can go about, I don't know, moving out of this energy. I don't want to say resolving it, but like moving out of this energy. Um, One thing that has been brought to my attention recently is not even so much using positive affirmations, but just when you get stuck in that moment where you're just, your ego's doing its thing. I don't want to go into details again, but your ego's doing its thing, whether it's a past, present, or future thing. um, just stop and breathe for a moment, and just say, I am. Every time you breathe in, every time you breathe out, am. um, and one thing that Eckhart Tolle even talks about is not even so much focusing on the in breath or the out breath, not so much focusing on the words that you're saying, so like the I am, but focusing on the space in between. um he goes into great detail as to why you do that and how it creates space and everything. I don't want to go into that now because it's really in depth. But I will push it and I will keep pushing it. It is a fantastic book. Um, I used to be a crazy reader. Like, I used to read all the time, and then, internet and phones. I do still read like ebooks and stuff like that, but I moved away from actually having a book in my hand, and I really miss that. And for some reason I just felt like this was one of those books. Partially because I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have like, those little cute little itty bitty sticky note tabs and like notes and stuff like that, and I didn't have a single note in the book. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't in the future. But either way, I do highly encourage it. I highly encourage having the book in your hands, to be able to read it and to go back to it and grab it. It's got fantastic material, and like I had mentioned before, life changing. It really was. It came into my life exactly at the right time, as everything does, right? Everything is so divinely timed, which is another thing. That I've really been working on, is just no matter how frustrated I get about not being able to know everything that's going on and to control the situation, ego things, I really just have to take myself back and be like, it's divine timing. It's divine timing. As much as it pisses me off to hear that, even when I listen to readings, divine timing. Or maybe even more so, just get away from time. That's been the message that I've been getting the last few days, has been get away from time. Like, stop focusing on that. Stop focusing on the when, where, how of things. If your intuition is telling you that something is going to happen, you feel that in every fiber of your being, physical and non-physical. Every bit of energy in you says, yes, this is happening. You've seen visions of it. You feel the resonance in your chest. Trust it and get away from the like I said, the when, where, and how. And as always, I am never getting on here to preach, except about going in. Go within. Always go within. Don't search externally. I am very much, this is very much for me. I am very much giving these messages to myself. Giving myself the pep talk, you know what I mean? Not that I don't have people in my life, but holy cow, dudes, the mission that I have not only been tasked with, but tasked myself with, the mission I signed up for, is huge. And that means that I have a really, really small circle. And not that that upsets me. I've always had a really small circle. I've always struggled with fitting in. I've always done that thing where I have kind of molded myself, to mirror other people. And that wasn't because, well, I think I won't say that it wasn't because, of trying to fit in. I was very much trying to fit in, but it goes back to that. I keep seeing this glare on my glasses, and I'm trying to avoid that. My thought just went away. Dang it. Shoot, when that happens. Just being alone and stuff. Not really fitting in. I don't know where I was going with it, but either way, I think a lot of that just has to do with, oh, I remember what I was saying. Mirroring people, not just because of trying to fit in, but and not just trying to find myself, but because of this, the empath in me. you kind of mold yourself to mirror people to relate to them, um, because not all of us have been in everybody's shoes, have experienced all these things that people have. And even if you have, even if you're like, oh yeah, man, totally been through that, you still, like we go back to that disco ball and that fractal, you're still a fractal, a different fractal. You're still going to see the world and everything and experience everything ever so slightly differently, even if you're right next to somebody that experienced the same thing. You could be sitting uh, in a car next to somebody and experience something, and it's still going to be drastically different. You're still going to take something different from it. And if it's a traumatic experience, your trauma will be experienced differently. Um, so yeah, I think that in that, even in trying to fit in all these different cliques and circles and all these different things, I still found myself very much alone. I actually almost found myself more alone. Um, I had, a few best friends here and there growing up, but it's like, even then, they fit a certain part of my life, and then that was it. Like, I'm not that person that has had like this childhood best friend and then and still friends with them. All of these people that I have called my best friends, they have shifted in and out of my life. um, Honestly, the only person that I have called my best friend that has consistently been in my life is my mom. And she's my main. She is my main supporter, and I can tell you, I know exactly why. I've gotten a lot of downloads, lots of memories, lots of stuff has come up in the last couple of weeks. And I have tried to do this before, this big ass mission that I have tasked myself with. Um, I've tried to do it plenty of times before, and I have been scrutinized for it and prosecuted for it, to be completely honest, and possibly committed. And I could see why, because a lot of the stuff that has come up, these downloads that I've gotten and the memories that have come up, and this whole, hey, here's your mission, it's so much bigger than you expected. Yeah. Um, if I didn't have the validation of my mom, I borderline wanting to commit myself, like really feeling that level of crazy. Um, but that takes us back to the whole ego programming, right? That's how our ego is programmed that way. And then on top of that, like the systems that we grow up in, they're indoctrinated. They tell us to think and act and feel and just generally be a specific way. You look at advertisements and this consumerism type way that we live. uh we're told that, if you're not doing this or that or wearing this, or if you don't have money, or if you don't, possessions, very much materialistic things, if you don't have this or that, or you're not thinking a specific way, you're not following this religion, you're not following this trend or whatever, you're not following the mass, basically, you're crazy. Or if you're trying to do something that hasn't been done before, you're crazy. And um, that's not how it is. That is not our reality. That is the reality that we have been programmed to see and believe and live in. Um, so, like I was saying, as we as we're shifting into these higher frequencies, into this higher level of consciousness, our ego programming is really gonna fight us hard. So that kind of takes me to, aside from pushing Eckhart Tolle's book and reading that, because like I said, it has a lot of really really beautiful ways that you can go about um, really disidentifying from your ego and just day-to-day things, and how it's a daily practice, and how to not feel defeated, because that's the thing. Every time you're catching yourself, you're rewiring your brain. um, So really don't feel defeated. Telling myself, don't feel defeated, Kat. Because we are just little bit by little bit, we are rewiring our brains by catching ourselves in that moment, and being aware, like having that level of awareness, being aware of being aware. Like, I am the conscious mind, or I am the consciousness, not the conscious mind. I am the consciousness, um, that is observing the ego mind, that is making the judgment, that is doing this, doing that, that is bringing up this like repetitive Usher lyric in your head. And then also subliminals. I think subliminals are great. And this is something I had mentioned before, but I want to bring this to my channel very much so. Um, Partially just because I'm using this app, and as much as I love supporting other people in the spiritual community and their endeavors and everything and what they're bringing to the collective, the app's not working for me anymore. And I think it's just a clear sign, because I literally put it on and it either stops in the middle of the night, or I wake up at the normal time I do, and it's just off. And has been repetitive, and it's because I keep getting this message like, you need to be bringing this to people. And no shame, no judgment on anybody else. I will say this over and over again. I am not a judgmental person. I'm not going to judge anybody for anything whatsoever. It used to be, oh, I'm not going to judge you, physically. I'll judge your character. Like, no, I'm not even judging your character at this point. I'm really not. I understand where everybody is coming from. It's just, I'll look at you, and if you're acting a specific way or being a specific way, I'll acknowledge that you're just at a specific level of frequency. And again, no judgment. So, yeah, no judgment on people that are profiting off of things like that. But I am being called to bring this to my channel free of charge. I don't want to, it's basically just not something I want to profit off of. I am here to help, like I said, task myself with a really big mission. But I am just being bombarded with all these different ways that I can fulfill that mission. And that is to help people, and to help facilitate people's ascension. Basically to, help facilitate ascension, help ease the process, provide whatever it is that I can, whatever help and assistance that I can, while you're on this journey. And like I've mentioned, even if it's for 5 seconds, where you just click on a video or something, and you happen to hear a message that was just exactly what you needed at the right time, I'm fulfilling my mission in so many different ways. So yeah, that is just one way I really, really want to bring some healing, yeah, to my channel. Because what subliminals are doing is they're rewiring your brain. And how that's done, basically you have your conscious mind, and it's got like this bodyguard, in so many ways. We like to use metaphors here because it helps people kind of get a better perspective, right? It helps me get a better perspective, especially if you're a visual person, an artistic person, which we know we star seeds are. So you've got like this bodyguard, and when you're saying positive affirmations, it's kind of like, maybe we won't say it's like a complete bodyguard. Maybe we'll say it's more like a fence, but not really like a chain link fence. But like a fence, and you've got like these little holes in your fence where it can kind of get through. But ultimately, with positive affirmations, it takes a lot of diligence. You got to be really, really on point about it. You have to be disciplined. That's the word I was looking for. Really disciplined, as far as like saying it really repetitively and making sure you're doing it every single day. And yes, subliminals, you have to do the same, but it's a little bit different. So with your subliminals, you have these positive affirmations that are tucked underneath different sounds, whether that be rain sounds, ocean sounds, healing frequencies, etc. Because they're tucked underneath, your conscious mind is not hearing all these positive affirmations. So what it's kind of doing is basically getting in through a back door. And because it's being able to or it's able to get into your mind through this back door, it's able to rewire things. So like I said, you still have to be consistent about it and do it repetitively. So like I like to listen to mine at night, but that is going to rewire your brain, and then before you know it, you're just going to see your life change. And I'm not sitting here BSing you guys. Like I mean, if you've used subliminals before consistently, you'll know what I'm talking about. Plenty of people, I don't want to say thousands, it could be more or less, I don't know. I don't like to throw out numbers, but I feel like there's a ton of freaking people out there that have seen really, really positive results from this. So yeah, basically, like, this is something I want to bring to my channel. I want to bring some sound healing, so I'm really, really excited about that. I have a bunch of instruments. Well, I don't have a bunch on order right now, but I have some instruments coming in, and some more that I want to order. So, and that's going to be, you know, not only for my healing practice, but also for my channel, because I want to share that stuff with you guys, because it's so cool and it's just amazing. Even if it's just a 10-minute video, gosh, even if it was a 30-second video, just listening to like some crystal singing bowls, oh my gosh, just the way it makes you feel, it's undeniable. Even though it's not in person, the results are just, I don't have words, y'all. I don't have words. It's incredible. You know, just look it up if you don't believe me. I know you do. If you're here, you're resonating. And also, it's like, I'll be honest, like, I vibe at a really high frequency. So if you're resonating, if you're here with me, you are too. So yeah, so you know that this stuff is legit. Yeah, I might also do like some Reiki, like some sound healing with some Reiki too. I don't know yet. We'll see. But to conclude, since y'all are my star seeds, I was feeling really, really called to pull from this beautiful starseed oracle deck. I don't know if you guys have it. I love it. It's super duper cool. I was gonna pull from my crystal mandala, but I'll be honest. The description, like the guidebook on it, is, the descriptions are really long, and the print is really, really tiny. So yeah, I'm like, I think we'll go with starseed oracle. It fits. I got some star seeds on my channel, my lovely tribe. So yeah, so I just want to, oh, hey, well, that one, I didn't even get to shuffle. Beautiful. This is so perfect. So this I definitely resonate with, but I feel like I'm not going to be the only one. So this is called Lost Lands. If I can get to it. Soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. The world is far more ancient than our documented history suggests, which this is perfect, because I have been called to share my galactic interdimensional knowledge. It is crazy. It is so crazy, and I am so excited to share it with you. It might almost be so crazy that I might have to do a Patreon, but we'll see. I'm not even jumping ahead to that. But yeah, I'm gonna be sharing some stuff with you guys. I'm really excited. And this is just like even more validation. As souls, many of us have experienced ancient eras on this planet that were much more advanced than ours today. As we begin to remember these times, the rememberings and gifts can come flooding back. And ooh, are they? At this stage in Earth's timeline, we need the wisdom of the ancients to survive as a species. You're being called to connect with the lost wisdom of your own soul. If you feel guided to make a change in your life, to step into a new career path, birth a creation, or bring an idea to life, but feel unprepared, this card is calling you to consider that you've done this before. Perhaps your soul has wisdom beyond what your lifespan can imagine. Perhaps the intuitive hits and ideas you're receiving are divinely guided. Perhaps you've been preparing for this time. Y'all, we totally have. Like I said, this is my message for sure. But I know you guys are resonating with this too. No matter how big or small, you know, you've done this before. You have prepared for this. We've all prepared for this. That's why it's so exciting. This is like the greatest time to be a Mama Gaia, the greatest time to be alive right now. Um, some think that lost lands exist in the past. Others believe they exist today in a different dimension. I believe these ancient lands also exist in the souls of those who experience them. If this card comes to you, perhaps the wisdom of lost lands such as Lemuria, Atlantis, and Avalon, all of my homes, they exist within you. And through surrendering to the intelligence of your soul, you can unlock the seeds of these ancient lands, so we can all learn from our mistakes and usher in a new age. And it also has a starseed activation. It says you can place the card on the portal of your heart, but really I think just putting your hands on your heart is good enough. I unlock any forgotten wisdom and soul gifts from lifetimes past. That is so, so beautiful. And yeah, I think it's like a perfect place to end it. So I am so grateful for you guys being here. As I always say, love, light, and blessings to you. And if you haven't already and you want to join our lovely tribe, please subscribe. But if not, I am always so grateful that you're here for this message. Like I said, even if it's for 5 seconds. So have a beautiful rest of your day, whenever that may be, wherever that may be. As we know, it's just now, here and now. And I love you guys so much. Take care.